Hi, I'm Kim Ellis. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to bring to you 5 tips on how to lighten your load. Tip number 1, no dot days. What do I mean by no dot days? My husband pointed out to me a while ago, we both have iPhones, and on your calendar, for each day that there's an event, you have a dot. And so he would look at our calendar sometimes and realize that there was no dot there. And that meant that the calendar was free. It was open that day for possibilities to do other things. And I looked at my calendar and I became excited to think, I don't want to have a dot on every day. I don't want to have something that I have scheduled. I don't want everything planned out to the point where I can't have freedom to do something spontaneous, to do something different. I don't want to overschedule my life. Rest is an important aspect of our mental, physical, our spiritual health, so that we can recharge. And if every day is filled with a dot, then that possibility fades away. When my days are filled with dots, I don't have that breathing room, I don't have that space to do other things. So now I try my best to have no dot days where I leave my schedule open. There's time for relaxation. I'm coming to you from my porch because I have a no dot day. I have a no dot morning anyway, to where I can come and relax. And I hope that you guys can hear the birds singing. It's a very peaceful morning. So how can you build in no dot days? Tip number 2, does this bring you joy? If you've heard about Marie Kondo and her way to purge possessions by holding it in your hand and seeing if it sparks joy, that can also be applied to our schedules. We can look at activities and events and say, does this spark joy anymore? And so we can minimize our calendar. I'm not saying to walk away from your job or your responsibilities with your family, but it might be time to reevaluate. Sometimes some of the activities that we've always done, we've just always done them, and we don't really think about, does this still fit into my lifestyle? We have different seasons in our life, and sometimes we've passed that and unknowingly just kept that on our schedule. Different activities, different organizations, different things that we do that perhaps we've outgrown. I know that I've had different seasons in my life, and sometimes I've outgrown things. There was a time when I did mops, and that was wonderful, but my children are grown and I'm not in that season of life anymore. We used to do a lot more play dates, and my kids are teenagers, and I have a 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old at home, and he still does activities, but we do a lot of different things now that our season in life has changed. So is it time to look at your schedule and maybe purge some things? Can you release things that no longer serve a purpose for your life and your activities? Tip number 3, can you 2020 it? And I don't mean to go back to the time when we were all looking for toilet paper, because that was not a fun time. But can you wipe your slate clean? I was watching a YouTube video by the Minimal Mom, whom I love, and she was talking to the author McQuillan, and I don't remember her last name, so I'll link it in the video in the comments below. But she was talking about removing all of the possessions from one of your rooms and then adding things back and seeing how you could kind of take a rest from those items for a little while to see really what you like. And I think we can do that with our schedule as well. We can maybe take a month and wipe your slate clean and see what you really want to add back in. Now, I know we all have responsibilities and things like that, but if we wipe our schedule clean just a little bit, or of a couple things, we can see if, did we miss it? Do we really want to go back to adding that into our lives? And it will help us to make a decision and not just go along and do it because we've always done it. It can be a purposeful decision to say, yes, I enjoy this activity, or yes, I want to put this into my life. This is very important. Or no, this doesn't serve me anymore. It was just a season of life. So how can you 2020 your life? Tip number 4, goal time. When you look at your activities and you reevaluate them in light of what your goals are they supporting your goals? Or do they detract from them? I'm a children's book author and illustrator, and I'm working on my 3rd book, and I guess I'm a YouTuber now. So I have to make choices. I have to make choices about my schedule and what will support my goals and what will just get in the way. So I have to make choices about what I'd like to do and what I don't want to do. So when I was in my 20s, just a little while ago, I used to love to be out. I almost didn't want to come home at the end of the night because I had so much fun hanging out with friends and going places and really being very active. But now in this season of life, I like to be at home. One of my favorite things at the end of the night is to curl up on the couch with my blanket and my cat Cookie and my husband, and we watch K-dramas. And so any night that I can do that, I feel like I've got to win. So what kind of activities can I purge from my life to say, how can I be relaxed? How can I be at home? How can I be not running around constantly? Now, I still do love to go out, and I still do love to have activities with friends and family members, but I don't always feel the need to be rushing from place to place. And I think that's one thing that 2020 did teach us, is that we don't have to overpack our schedules. It can be very stressful to do that. We don't feel like we have rest. Sometimes the blank spaces help us to really look and examine our lives and say, what brings me joy? What is bringing me purpose? What is helping to move me forward in my goals in life? So I encourage you to look at your schedule and see if it fits into your goals. And if they don't, you can definitely lighten that load. And tip number 5 is metamorphosize. Just like that chubby little caterpillar has to go into its cocoon before it can lighten its load and become a butterfly and fly away, we also need to grow and change to become the person that we want to be. If I asked you what you did on December 12th, 2019, you probably wouldn't remember, and most people don't. But perhaps there was a choice that you made that day that you kept on making. And each of those days that you kept on making it, it compounded to become a habit that became a lifestyle change. There's a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. Very popular book, very good book. I would suggest it. And he says, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. So what decisions are you making today? How are you going to metamorphosize from that chubby little caterpillar to the butterfly that has wings and can fly wherever it wants to? Every decision that you make is a choice. And if you keep making those decisions every day, you're going to make a change. You're going to metamorphosize. I want to share a story about my in-laws and the load that they carried. They lived in a house that my father-in-law had built for years, and they were they were hoarders. They kept a lot of possessions, and they got ready to move. They were in their 80s, and they moved down to Florida to be with my husband's brother. And when they did, they got the moving van to pack 100 boxes, is what they said, to the movers for 2 people. That might not sound like a lot, but when they eventually packed up their whole house, they had 200 boxes. 200 boxes, really big boxes, full of stuff. And 200 boxes that unfortunately sat in a warehouse because they were waiting to buy a house. And my father-in-law had cancer and it got worse, and he wasn't down in Florida but for 6 months before he passed away. And my mother-in-law wasn't doing well, and she went into a nursing home. So all that to say, they had 200 boxes of possessions that never made it down to Florida. It went to a holding place, and then it went to my sister-in-law, and she helped to sell some of the possessions and clean that out. But all of those 200 boxes that they had planned for their life, and I know they didn't plan for life to happen that way, but they never got to enjoy them again. They never got to open those boxes. And so I guess I ask you today, how can you lighten your load? How can you free up your schedule? How can you free up your possessions so that you're not having to maintain and manage so much? And when you have more of a clean slate in your life, and you don't feel like you're burdened by, again, your possessions and the things that you're overscheduled with, there's a freedom. And that freedom brings peace. And like I like to say, peace is priceless. You can't buy back any of the days of your life. So how do you want to spend them? Do you want to spend them hurried and rushed and stressed out? Or do you want to spend them with the people you love, doing things that bring you joy? So that's my message for you today. I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. I look forward to this time that we spend together. So you guys have a great day and lighten your load. Bye. Hi.
The repair type where you can still repair it. So that's the best amount you could probably do. And that's what you should do to get you on ahead. And give it an extra push so you can do push-ups. But you also need to get your leg workout, like push-ups or some squats. That will really do it.